Part 2, Fellowship of the Miladies and the Legend of the Hotbox Incident. Our cast. Me, Chaos. For the purpose of the story, I will fully admit and shamelessly admit that yes, I am part of the MLP fandom, and yes, I do have a few pony sonas. I have one in particular that is important to the story, but the only really important part about her is that she happened to be an alicorn. Also, I must make it clear that yes, I am a stoner and was also a borderline alcoholic at the time. I have really worked to get it under control, but at the time of our story, I was a very heavy drinker. WK, also called Pussy Repellent behind his back, is now a permanent thorn in everyone's side, will often critique others' work without being asked, and usually kneeling about the most unimportant things, ignoring the actual quality of the work and claiming that it would be so much better if we used his choice in characters instead. It is also a massive game player and anime gatekeeper, and has some questionable and outdated views on the women. RD, athletic asexual friend from Last Tale. She left the school not long after the end of Part 2 just to get away from WK. Tia, Kickmaster, and Beard Wrangler Pro. I actually talked to her about this recently, and she gave me full permission to tell every cringy detail. This is her second and last interaction with WK, as she finished her degree, married her college boyfriend, and moved to another state. Luna, Tia's little sister who moved with her all the time, is total neckbeard bait. MM, my housemate. I'm calling him Mullet Man after his carefully maintained mullet. He's a good guy and a huge metalhead. Paul, friendo from the last story. X, future boyfriend, mistake, and X. During this time, he actually seemed pretty cool. AT, the teacher for this round. She's a smaller woman who taught an animation class. Her husband teaches 3D courses at the school. Yoshi, another school friend. Always plays as Yoshi in any Mario or Smash game where he's allowed to, hence the nickname. Samus, Yoshi's cousin. Huge Metroid fan. Buckle up, buckaroo, as this part of the tale begins about 5 weeks after the end of Part 1. A new semester had begun, and thankfully I did not have any of the classes with WK. I was so relieved that I would have a few months where I was not forced to sit in the same room as him if I did not want to. Oh, how wrong I was. I was on my way to my animation class with Yoshi and Samus when we heard a commotion down the hall near the Student Service Center. Like the three fucking stooges, we got curious and decided to investigate for shits and grins. We had some time to kill. Huge mistake. It was WK blowing up on some of the academic advisors, giving a huge fuss over the fact that he could not switch out of class. What's so hard to understand? I have a 2-week period to change my classes, and I demand that you change them now! If you cannot do it, then get me a man in the office. They should be smart enough to figure it out. My heart went out to her. She was politely ignoring his tirade and reiterating what she had said before. It's not that I don't understand, it's just that you're asking for something impossible. One of the classes you wanted to switch is not even in your program, and it's only for the animation program, and the other class you wanted to switch is completely full, and you've already taken it. I've given you the list of classes that are available to transfer into currently. If you do not calm down, I'm going to have to call security to have you removed again. He slammed his meaty fist down on her desk. That is unacceptable! I demand to speak to a man advisor immediately! My two friends and I saw two large, well-built security guards approaching from the stairwell in a hurry, and we all agreed that it was time for us to stop being curious and go to our class. We could hear his angered beard screech as the two butt-pirate chads, yes, he said butt-pirate, dared to lay their chatty hands on his magnificent self. Sadly, WK was not expelled from school, but he was put on a sort of probation. If he acted out again, he would be banned from campus. He was quiet the rest of the week, and although the next, but it was too beautiful a time to remain quiet, and he would cause trouble for me yet again. I was in the very same class working on my project and quietly chatting with Yoshi, who sat next to me when I suddenly heard the creak of the chair next to me. No one sat there, so I turned my head, thinking it was one of our classmates switching seats for some reason. There sat WK with a pleased-as-punch grin on his face. I blinked in shock, but said nothing and returned to work. Hi, Chaos. Go away, WK. This is a class. You just can't intrude like this. WK frowns and looks around. This is an open lab. I'm allowed to be here. He wasn't shouting, but he got the attention of AT anyway. She stood up and walked over. Excuse me, young man, but this is a class. You need to leave. WK shot her a dirty look and rolled his eyes. Whatever, sweetie. Go make me a sandwich. He let loose an obnoxious and disruptive loud laugh that sounded like a small animal dying. WK thought he just made the greatest joke in history. AT got red in the face. Leave my classroom now! WK flipped her off, and AT huffed and left the room to get security. I really wish you just would have called them and stayed in the room. So, Chaos, do you want to go to the movies later? We can go and eat. Make a date. My treat. Normally, I would jump at the offer of food, and he was banking on this. No, WK, please leave me alone. This is a class. I did my best to ignore him, hoping security would be there soon. WK got angry because I was not talking to him, so he shut off my monitor. I was relieved it was not the tower this time, but it still irritated me. God damn it, WK, leave me alone! Why won't you talk to me? Because I'm in a class, like you should be. Now go away. I turned my monitor back on and continued to work. Gee, Chaos, calm your tits. I rolled my eyes and continued to work. Then I felt him reach over and actually fully-handed grab my breast. They're really nice tits, too. I like how they spill out of my... I didn't let him finish, as I slapped him so hard he flew out of the chair and out to the floor. What the fuck? I got up and glared down at him enraged. I told you not to touch me! How dare you slap me? He tried to stand, tears streaming down his face. How dare I? How dare you? You grabbed me! I fucking told you not to do that! I then rushed out of the classroom and head straight for the office, WK rushing behind me, attempting to stop me. No! Chaos! Come back! I heard him slip and fall, and I did not look back. AT and the security staff stopped me in the hall, and I broke down, telling them what happened while sobbing my eyes out. I was just so done, and I wanted him to leave me alone. They found him struggling to get to his feet, yelling profanities at the four guys holding him down. He was red from anger and exertion, but there was a big swollen purple welt developing on half his face where I had slapped him. He was hauled to his feet and attempted to tell them how I had marked his glorious visage, but everyone was just done with his crap. He was finally expelled and banned from the school, but it was not the end. Oh no. At the end of the semester, I decided that I wanted to do something fun with my friends, so I got together with Tia, Luna, RD, MM, Paul, X, and Yoshi, and I decided to go clubbing. Paul and I were on the designated drivers. As we were the only ones with cars, my car was the hotbox car, so Tia and X were riding with me so we could smoke together in the parking lot before we went inside. Paul had the bigger car and did not partake, so it was the car for everyone who did not smoke. We were sitting in the car outside the club, waiting for it to open and passing around a couple of dank joints. The smoke got so thick you could not see your hand in front of your face. There was a knock on my window, and at first we thought it was one of the others letting us know that the club was open. I realized that the shadow was much too big to be one of them, so instead I slowly rolled down my window. As I leaned out, the smoke practically shot on my car in a pillar, right into the face of none other than WK. He scrunched up his face and waved his hand to clear the air, almost connecting with me. He is unable to avoid the bulk of it, and he coughs, chokes, and turns and pukes right on the side of my car. I didn't really care about that part, but I was concerned that he had somehow found me. What the hell are you doing here, WK? X had already gotten up out of the car and was pushing the passenger seat to let Tia out. I was about to ask you guys the same thing. Chaos, what the hell is that bunch of nonsense? It's awful! My stoned ass just started to snicker. It's not incense, but how did you know it was my car? He ignores my question. Wait. Were you smoking? His eyes go wide, and he gets an angry look on his face. Chaos, how could you? You know that's bad for you. You know that I don't like it. I'm too high to really care if I piss him off further. Yeah, we were. And also, why would I care if you don't like it? I don't want you around me after what you did. He gets an offended look on his face and throws up his hands. What I did? You slapped me and got me expelled for no reason! Side note, when I'm stoned, I give no shits, and I get very blunt, especially if I smoke a blunt. No, you were expelled for generally being a creep and sexually assaulting me. No, I didn't! You grabbed my breast in class without my permission. I thought you might appreciate a little squeeze. I get out of my car, making sure to hit him with my door. He steps back, looking at me with a bit of fear. Hey, now, you even think of slapping me again, and I'll kick your ass. I'm not afraid to hit a woman. Tia is suddenly in his face, all over, her chill gone. Really now, fat boy? Well then, go ahead. She leaned up to him. I fucking dare you. His face is white, and he just stands there frozen. No? Good. Now, leave me and my friends alone, you slimy creep. She then turns on her heel, and I close up my window and lock my door. We're all walking towards the club when we heard the softest mutter behind us. Stupid bitch can't talk to me like that. Tia turns, fire in her eyes. Excuse me, what was that? She stands there with her arms crossed, one leg slightly bent, and I wish you fucking would look on her face. I eventually referred to the stance as her war pose. Get your cock out of your mouth and speak up, buttercup. This tipped the scale in his head, and he gives an enraged screech and rushes her. Tia stands there calmly before putting her foot back, and there are two contacts, her foot with his groin and his body with the ground. As he lays there howling, he's throwing profanities at us, telling us that we deserve the worst boyfriends, and that hoped that we got killed and stuffed in a cellar. We ignored him and had a nice time at the club, until Luna noticed that WK had entered the club and was heading towards us with a furious look on his face. He shoots the others a glare and headed straight for me, grabbing my wrist and nearly yanking my arm out of its socket as he began to pull me towards the exit. WK, let go of me! Come on, Chaos, you're my ride home. What? Ew, no, I'm not leaving! I reached into my back pocket for the little can of mace that my dad had given to me when I left home for college. He turned to shout at me and got a face full of the spicy goodness. It got in his eyes, nose, and mouth, and he squealed like a stuck pig, grabbing at his face. He ran away from me, bowling over everyone in his path as he attempted to clear his face. My friends and I ran to where we knew there was a bouncer and told him what had happened. The police were called, and when we told them everything, they asked if we wanted to press charges. Yes, absolutely. The officers hauled him to the drunk tank. A few days later, WK found me while I was getting groceries. I saw him approach, and I spoke first. No, I don't want to hear it, WK. Leave me alone. He put up his hand for me to let him speak. When he did, his voice was raspy, and it looked like it hurt to talk. Hey, us, we both have made mistakes the last few times we talked, and I just want to put this awfulness behind us. I glared at him and opened my mouth, but he spoke louder. And I want you to say that I'm sorry if I did anything to upset you. He then looked at me expectantly. When I did not speak, he cleared his throat. I'm waiting, Chaos. For what? For you to apologize to me. My jaw practically fell off. Of course, I understand that being a woman might be hard for you, so I'll consider it an apology if you agree to be my girlfriend and stop smoking. I was livid. This is a joke, right? It was his turn to look confused. I am not apologizing to you, and I'm definitely not dating you. In fact, I decided that I'm going to get a restraining order. I tried to leave, and he grabbed my cart. Let go. No, not until you apologize. I yanked the cart as hard as I could, tearing it from his hands and making him cry out. I quickly walked towards the checkout, and who did I run into but X? He saw WK trying to rush up to me and asked if I needed help. Yeah, I need help pissing him off. You in? He smirked. Sure, what do you want me to do? Act like we're dating and kiss me. To be fair, we were both really into each other, and I liked him enough to allow him hugs. He started grinning and agreed. Then he took me into his arms, dipped me dramatically, and kissed me full in the mouth. When we came up, I shot a glance to WK, who stood there in shock, tears streaming down his face. Not long after this, I did ask X if he wanted to date me, and surprisingly, he said yes.